Oh my god.
Okay. Whenever you guys are ready.
Stop.
Hey guys.
Great.
Well, there is a date.
You're first.
It's an actual debate. Megan.
What? Happy chill.
Like,
Go ahead.
Can I have like a moment? No, you cannot.
Take your time.
I don't have my dark blue pen.
Sorry.
Really sad. It's okay, guys. You can't be any worse than we were on our first debate.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god, here we go again.
It was a nightmare. I debated each and I was terrified of her.
I don't
Ish is like, Grace is my partner, and I just let her carry me throughout the whole thing.
Yeah, I was your partner.
I'm so sorry. I should have been cooler then. Oh wait, Shepherds, were we Mr. Floyd's classroom?
I don't remember. You were just like,
It's so hot.
you were just like, okay, I'm gonna teach you how to flow really quick. Just take notes. Okay, ready, go.
Well, you didn't know the song that seems.
I was basically
My first debate, I was asking, like, they didn't tell me anything. They just, like, come up with an argument. I'm like,
I think my first debate was on something that actually was like.
oh, I was a part of
My
my
first
first
debate
debate.
was against
My first debate was the current event as well. It was like why Britain should.
Oh, I heard migration to the EU.
Yeah, I got a legit topic on my first debate.
I was studying about Syria.
I had a legit topic and debating marriages.
I was thinking about Ebola.
Usually debate season, but like you have only yourself to debate.
Because they're.
Shoot, I need my algebra textbook.
Is this your
Follow
textbook?
this.
It's right there.
I know, but like, it's really annoying because like when you like crush it.
Is that a
it's,
random
like,
algebra
one-
text?
No,
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 it's
just-
mine.
Is it like
Nice.
your $50?
I'll take it.
Wait, no, I want to sell it.
I lost
It's
mine.
prestige.
I know, that's why I was
Oh,
like,
really?
but then you have like them, so it's like,
Give it to me.
should to
Catch.
split it down the middle or
Well,
take
it's
the
in like
back
pristine
side?
condition. You can sell that.
You should just not. use
Oh,
it.
it's yours already. No, dude, I legit lost my math textbook. I might take it.
You got like this.
You
Use
might want
that.
another piece of paper. Second one.
I always use it back.
Remember, debate kills trees. Don't be ashamed. It happens to everyone.
Meilinda, you want to grab me?
Yeah.
It's TJ Van
Should go by me, right?
No, it's called Meilinda.
Ooh, it's so hot.
Because that'd be so confusing. if
Wait,
you
you guys
go
came
by
from
me.
China?
2 minutes.
Yeah, we came from different campuses.
Wait, which campus is
Which
it?
campus did?
I was from Strawberry Park. She was from Sunnyvale.
Huh?
Let me go for a win.
Strawberry.
Sorry guys,
Sorry.
Arden was so lucky.
Ariel
still sucks.
Oh yeah, there she is.
Yeah.
Very yes, that's
We just
started.
Strawberry Park did not have one.
Ariel still sucks. Yeah. Alright, Ariel.
Yeah.
Are you guys good? You want to draw lines on your paper?
Yeah.
Wow, sit.
Wait,
Oh,
did
yeah.
you
They
make
started.
Yes, we did. We went to the same challenge.
And Margaret.
I'm still so
And Margaret and
That's not coming
oh well, yeah, and Amanda.
And they laughed.
That's really
and
fun.
I don't know. Listen, Robert Chen.
I know.
Just like, what the heck is going on?
Robert Chen.
Which
Which
is
Sophomores. Shush. Alright.
So
Go ahead.
30 seconds.
30 seconds. Come on. You can do this.
You have stars.
You got this. You can stand at the table.
And if you ask people, I think probably boost sophomores during their speech.
No! We're gonna lose.
I feel like you guys chose this topic because we chose affirmative. Is that why? No, Lily wrote these down ahead of time during English.
I wrote them for English.
Really? You
Honest.
think you're
Really?
funny?
You should have been concentrating
So
on we were talking about current events, so I was like, oh, these are good ideas for debate topics. So I wrote them down.
Productive.
Alright,
Can I see you?
whenever you're ready, go ahead.
Okay. Donald Trump has had a net detrimental effect on America thus far in his 2016 campaign, not only because of his policies of immigration, but also his blatant racism and immigration policies. Donald Trump says that we should build a wall around our country to avoid Mexican people from coming in through the border. He says by building this wall, the Mexican people will not only be happy for it, but will also be happy to finance it. He also wants to deport a total of 11 million people out of America, as he says he wants to make America great again by keeping only American people or people of American generation in America. By doing this, he will not only change the American economy, but he will also take away many people's homes, families, and lifestyles. Donald Trump's policies of immigration are not only racist, as he says that Latino people should not be in America and should be deported, but also because he wants to keep people from coming into the country. Donald Trump's campaign in 2016 not only has a negative effect on the people, but also what he says and stands for are against many values of the people in America. Donald Trump's policies are racist, but more than this, he's offended many people during his campaign, but also appealed to some, as he is appealing to what he calls the fear of the people, as he wants people who are immigrated to America to be deported. Donald Trump's campaign in all is detrimental and should not be voted for. Thank you. You're so cute.
I wish I was
That was so good for your house.
Yeah.
Really
I
good.
still say
I said like one thing and random.
I still say but she did say
I was too serious for like the first time.
That was really
I
good.
did.
Oh my god, that was so good.
I
Oh
know.
my god.
Meilinda,
I was suddenly I was like,
That was good.
Alright, girl.
oh my god.
What?
It was just there.
Framework.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Grace.
Stop.
Is everybody ready, please?
Time.
Alright.
Wait, what was
Well,
it?
don't
Time
time
starts.
starts.
Okay, what time me? Was it like
Judge ready?
It was 2.5.
It's okay.
Judge
I
ready?
kept saying and I popped
Audience
out.
ready?
Sophomore shush.
Alright. Time starts now. Make America great again. This is what Donald Trump is standing for. And as the leader of the negation team, I strongly negate today's resolution that Donald Trump had a net detrimental effect thus far during his 2016 campaign. As a brief roadmap, I'll be going over the framework and definitions, and then refuting the affirmative team's case, and then moving on to our own case. So the affirmative team has failed to provide a criterion and definition. So we will, as the negation team, we will do that for them. We define Donald Trump as a presidential candidate for 2016. The 2016 campaign is the presidential campaign. Oh shit, I'm not timing myself. Okay. Presidential campaign is defined as the race for American presidency and the metaphorical race for presidential campaign. Okay. The race for presidency. Anyway, and America is the country. Okay, and the criterion today, which is what this debate should be weighed on today, is net benefits, which is pretty self-explanatory. That being said, shut up. Okay, sorry. And with that, I'd like to refute the negation team's case. So their first contention was that of Donald Trump's immigration policy. However, I'd like to, and they talked about all the detriments and how this is racist. However, Donald Trump's immigration policy is one of the examples of how brutally honest he is in his policies, and we'll get to that in our own contentions. But I'd like to say that his immigration policy actually has some benefit. Because we are by taking out the immigrants, he's also taking out by taking out Latina immigrants, he's also taking out the very people who have been sex offenders, who have hurted, who have raped and killed people in the past. But I won't get into that now because I'm gonna probably die anyway. And also in the fact that he's offended people. His policies have offended people. This is a non-unique argument because many politicians in the past have offended people with their own policies. Therefore, it's non-unique to say that Donald Trump is any worse than any other politician because he has offended people with his very own policies. That being said, I'd like to move on to our own case. So our first contention is that of how people will be more involved in politics. The affirmative team has stated as to how Donald Trump has outraged people. Yes, as the negation team, we agree to this. However, we say that this is beneficial to the 2016 campaign because more people will be involved in politics. What does this mean? This means that people, when more people are involved in politics, this is a part of a democracy. And right now, you can see that you can see that democracy isn't really being enforced in America right now. In the 2012 elections, according to ABC.com, 94 million Americans did not vote. And this is extremely detrimental because the more people don't vote, the more the government becomes to take advantage of this, etc. So, with Donald Trump with more people becoming outraged with Donald Trump, they'll be more encouraged to follow politics, to learn about the issues that he's speaking of, and vote on the candidates that they feel are more fit, rather than just one, blindly voting, or two, not voting at all. Our second contention is how Donald Trump tells America as it is. He made a lot of comments about that are extremely offensive to women, to people of color, with his immigration plan, etc. However, this is actually beneficial because this outrages people, and when people are, especially during the presidential election, they'll be more inclined to become involved in politics so they can vote against him. And not only that, they'll be more inclined to vote for people that they feel are most fit. All these issues as he's brought up have only sparked more of a passion in, like, say, feminists, say, people against racism, and this movement that he has sparked with his derogatory, rude comments will actually eventually benefit the American population. This adheres to our criterion set today of net benefits. This is beneficial because more people will become involved in politics, and also more people will stand up against the issues that he has presented today as he tells America as it is. And finally, he makes the Republican Party less popular. Because he's running as a Republican candidate, you can see that a lot of people would be less inclined to vote for Republicans. And this is actually beneficial because the Republican Party is notorious for having lots of detrimental views, such as being against abortion, or how they believe that wild animals were put on Earth for the sport of hunting. This is an actual quote. This is according to AmericanPolitics.com. And also a statement from Rick Wilson, a Florida Republican ad maker, stated that there is a faction that would actually burn down the entire Republican Party in hopes that they can rebuild it to a better image. So in this way, Donald Trump is soiling the image of the Republicans, so more people will be inclined to vote democratically. And why is this important? Because this is what our country has been brought up for, and this is what our country stands for. Our country stands for democracy. Our country stands for people being involved in having a say in the government.
Yeah, that's kind of the deal.
And we'd also like to mention how Donald Trump would encourage politicians to have clear policies. So I stated before when I was refuting their arguments about Donald Trump's immigration plan, how it's brutally honest when he talks about statements like building a wall, etc. His approval rating right now is 20% out of all candidates in the Republican Party, versus, to bring a comparison, Jeb Bush, who is only 11%. So you can see here clearly that Donald Trump is extremely influential because his policies are extremely clear. This would encourage more people. Protected time. This would encourage more people to become. 30 seconds. Okay. Anyway, this would encourage more people to become involved. More politicians to have clear policies. And for these reasons, and because Donald Trump will make America great again, I strongly negate today's resolution that Donald Trump was detrimental on the 2016 campaign.
That was so impressive. Makes me cry.
I really did that one.
Huh?
Wait. I have a question. America is a republic, right?
That's what Challenger taught you. That's what Challenger taught you.
Don't worry.
Challenger
No,
the minds of young children.
Democratic Republic. Yeah.
I know, but like, if we can't be built on democracy then, right?
No, we're built on democracy.
We're built
Like
on
our
the
government
frameworks
says
of
the system is
Challenger, I
democracy.
know, they lie.
Challenger is
Republican.
We've all been through that.
Challenger has taught you how to become
The
studious
Democratic
Republican.
Republic is basically just that we have all representatives, like we're not all voting. Like in ancient Athens, where every single person, every single male who wasn't a slave cast a vote, because it's representative democracy. Yeah. That. Oh. Alright. You guys ready?
Meilinda's ready.
What was your time, bro?
Too long.
Wait, it was like 7:20.
Should we? Oh, wait.
Because I went 20. Yeah, sorry. I thought it was protected time. I thought it was called protected time.
Timer already
It's
stopped.
It's grace period.
Grace period. Yeah.
Alright.
Please don't abolish protected time. I'm starting to like it. Or, I mean, grace periods. Wait, are they getting rid of grace periods? Or what? No! That's my best excuse for not answering people's questions.
Like, okay, prohibition is
Computing.
yeah, grace periods, like, you use it right now. Huh? Like, you won't get away with using your grace period. Like, it, lay people don't really care. Once you do flow, they'll stop you. And, like,
Well, okay,
they'll,
yeah.
like, the judge will stop writing when the timer goes off.
Like a,
So
yeah,
anything else you say, they won't count.
So you might as well not say.
just stop mid-sentence and sit down.
Finish your sentence. Alright. Whenever you're ready, go ahead.
The voting side mentioned how Donald Trump was being he's doing the same thing as the other candidates. How many other candidates in politics have already been offensive, and he says he wants to make the country great again. But he does not necessarily have to be like the other candidates and follow their. Instead, he can make America great again without offending people. They also mentioned about how Donald Trump says that many of the immigrants from Mexico were all rapists and sex offenders and killers. Oh. That is a generalization because not all of them are going to be dangerous. So why do all of them suffer because of a small group? Now, starting with last time's case, Donald Trump in anti-immigration policies will end up hurting the economy even further. It will not help the economy whatsoever. It will end up. What if he deports? You said overtoys.
Say that again. That's what the next speech is about. It's support. That's what this speech is about. Make it stronger. Actually, no. Let's take us down.
Right, just go on to their case, so did you write down what they said for their points?
Yeah.
Alright, so go through and say individually why each of those three things.
Tackle my generalization point. Like, bring it down. Like, crush it to the core.
Die.
Okay, good.
I have both done that.
Oh, don't worry.
When he said that Donald Trump was trying to make an outrage, the outrage will not, yes, it may spark some people to react, but that does not mean that they may not react in a good way. Maybe if assuming he does become the president, then people will be more likely to protest even further, which will probably not help because he will probably still. Racism is already a problem that, even though many people are trying to stop racism, it continues on and on. Donald Trump is making it even worse by attacking the immigrants and saying how they should be deported and how they should make a barrier. And that barrier, assuming that if he wants Mexico's government to pay for that, that will end up angering the Mexican government, and that's not going to help their relations already from when he's trying to deport them. That's going to make the relations even worse. And that's not going to be beneficial for America because Mexico is a direct neighbor. And by making that wall around the entire bottom portion of the United States and blocking off Mexico, it will end up making it harder to communicate to the Mexican government, which it probably will need to communicate to the Mexican government if there are problems that, as I said before, were caused by the deportations and Chinese area, which could end up in some conflicts, may it be physical conflicts or indirect harm, but maybe they will try to harm the economy somehow by blocking trades. In conclusion, Donald Trump, with what he stands for, he will end up harming the American government's relations with other countries, which therefore will not benefit America.
Just like, that was really good. That was like 4 minutes. And I think more time we weren't on. I struggled with that.
It's okay. Just because we're in between speeches. It's okay. I hope.
Signpost. I'll just go up.
Alright, Elaine, go.
As a member of the negation team, I strongly negate today's resolution that Donald Trump has a net detrimental effect on America during the 2016 campaign. In this speech, I will be going over their reputations through our case first before going on to their case. So, our first contention was that people are more involved in politics, and they said yes, it will spark some reaction, and they said that that reaction may not be good, because more people will want to either vote for him, and they say that he's bad, or that people will be more angry for some reason. So, we would like to refute this by saying that some reaction is better than no reaction, right? As we have stated earlier, last election, 93 million people did not vote. 94 million people did not vote. And because of Donald Trump, as we have stated in our case, he's drawn more attention to the election so that people will either want to vote for him and vote for his policies, which is democracy and what our country is based on. So if people want Donald Trump to be our president, then that is what democracy is. And that's good because America is based on democracy. So they also said, so some reaction is better than no reaction at all because more people will be more involved in politics, and that prevents the government from taking advantage of voters because governments will just start to see how people don't even participate in voting for any of their candidates anymore, and they can just do whatever they want because no one cares anymore. So our second contention was that that Donald Trump tells America as it is, and that outrages people and inclines people to participate more in politics. Because they kind of refuted this by saying how more outrage is bad, but they didn't really explain why more outrage is bad. With more outrage, these issues will be more likely to will have more attention drawn upon them, and with more attention on them, then more people will try to work to solve these issues, such as the politicians they are trying to vote for. And by voting for politicians who will actually work for the issues they care about, America will become better. Like Donald Trump is trying to make America great, right, in this campaign. So our third contention was that it makes Republicans less popular, and they completely dropped this point, and therefore they agree that the Republican Party being less popular is a good thing. Now I will be going over the affirmative cases. So first contention was that about immigration and how Donald Trump is really racist and wants to build a wall. And they talked about how his immigration policies would hurt the economy and all that. But this resolution states that this resolution is affirming that, or they're trying to affirm that Donald Trump has a net detrimental effect on America during the campaign. All these things they're talking about are not about the campaign. They're just talking about what Donald Trump would do in the case that he would become president. But they're not talking about how he influences the 2016 campaign. And we have done that by saying how he helps more people become involved in politics with his controversies and makes the Republican Party less popular, which is good for the campaign because media can make more money off of Donald Trump. My partner also brought up some comments about immigration that they refuted, that they call racist and how it will harm America. But none of this stuff matters because we are talking about the 2016 campaign. This will not happen unless he is voted president, and we're not talking about his presidency and how he will affect America. We're just talking about how right now he is influencing the campaign, and that's not. So everything they're talking about immigration and his policies and his values don't matter at all in this campaign. We have shown how all his values and issues he has loudly spoken about have helped the election by getting more people involved in politics and outraging Americans to speak up against his racist and sexist comments. And because some impacts of this. Okay. Or people being involved in politics during elections is good because people know who they're voting for. When people know who they're voting for, they care more about what their government is doing. When people care about what their government is doing, they actually know more about what their government is doing. And by knowing about what their government is doing, they can make sure that their government does not take advantage of them or do anything that they would disagree, that is not democratic or with the majority of people's values. Now I will expand on our Republican Party less popular convention because, you know what? I strongly negate today's resolution that Donald Trump has a net detrimental effect on America during the 2016 election. Like 6:30.
I don't know what to talk about.
Alright. I was trying to squeeze out more time so I could write my vote.
God. White voters doing second half, but then I need to.
Oh, she's with me.
Well, like, yeah, I mean, like, if you vote just in the same way, just write the names.
Oh, no.
Everyone ready? Yes.
As the final speaker of the negation team, I strongly negate today's resolution that Donald Trump had a net detrimental effect on America thus far during the 2016 campaign. So as the final speaker of the negation team, I'd like to talk about the resolution set today. So my partner mentioned that the 2016 that today's resolution talks about the 2016 campaign, which I'd like to add does not mean we're talking about what's going to happen if Donald Trump was elected president. No. Thus far. We're not talking about what will happen in the future. We're talking what's happened thus far. And what we can see thus far is extremely beneficial to our nation. With that being said, I'd like to go over voter issues, which are reasons or key points why the negation team has provided more impacts and more benefits, and just overall has provided more to the table for the judge today. Okay, our first voter issue is that of the criterion set of net benefits. Net benefits. So, we talked about how Donald Trump's honesty is beneficial because he's not only influencing other politicians to make their policies clearer because he's already so popular in the race right now. He's also benefiting America by making more people involved in politics. And when more people are involved in politics, like my partner stated, the impacts can be very, very beneficial because you can see that more people are voting, more people are being involved, reading current events, watching the news, etc. And they will be more able to choose what they see as a better president for the United States. That being said, when more people are involved in politics, you can see a huge benefit in this. And this is different from the status quo right now because, as you can see in the previous election in 2012, 94 million Americans did not vote. And with Donald Trump, more people would be influenced to vote against him. And we'll go over that with. Okay, yeah. We also talked about how Donald Trump would make. Okay, two. Actually, okay. We'd like to talk. Okay, oh my God, I can't do one. Okay, our second voter issue is that of our case, which I'd like to emphasize the drop point. Our third contention, which was dropped by the affirmative team. So, our third point was that Donald Trump would make the Republican Party less popular, and therefore would make more people inclined to vote democratically, or more people would like democracy, which is good because this is what our country is built upon. Built? Oh my gosh, I'm tired. At least I don't think
I have a very
okay, which is what our country is built upon. And you can see that Republicans have extremely flawed ideas of the world today. They are, for example, they, like I stated in my first speech, they believe that wild animals were put on the planet for sport of hunting. This is extremely immoral, and this is only one of the many reasons why the Republican Party is not beneficial. With Donald Trump, this is immoral because we're killing animals for sport, and we should benefit the environment. Oh, okay. Okay. So impacts of this. People know what they're voting. People know who they're voting for because which leads to more people being involved in politics, which leads to the government not taking advantage of their situation. It's their entire case doesn't stand, or their point about the immigration policy that Donald Trump has set forward does not stand and actually benefits us because we stated how, for these reasons, I strongly negate.
That's so bad.
So what you want to do is answer things he said anything true. It said like a couple things that we're doing the last couple of speeches. You want to repeat that at the beginning, and then go into the
You can't bring up new points in the What's MO? MO? Yeah.
second leg. You can bring up new stuff, but PM gets to repeat it in one speech.
Okay.
So what I'm saying is, because you guys just had 12 minutes to talk. Yeah? Some of the stuff you just brought up was new. So she
Or is it
and
also
probably should use us that. You can't bring up new stuff, and if she completely changes the case, they can argue against that.
Yes.
Like just any, there were a couple of things they just brought up and they wanted to
Oh, I'm there. What's the name?
You should. Yes, as in Elaine, Pearl, Bones, face down. Face down, or it's sitting on my desk.
Oh.
So,
This is the new
Yes.
casting.
You're not my mom. Meredith is my mom.
No, she's your. No, she's your. She's their.
Lily's your stepmom.
I'm telling on you.
Wait, this is like the whole I'm my own grandma.
No!
She's
No!
like,
No!
She's like she's our stepmom, but also
so
the wife of
hard.
her grandma. So like, please stop. This
I
is
don't even
totally
have
like
to-
the I'm my own
Let's
grandma.
start.
Alright.
The negating side stated that some reaction is better than no reaction because of Donald Trump's campaign. Although this may be, the people may not vote just because they have more of a reaction to them. By seeing his racism and sexism, they might not only be turned off from politics, but may even cause less voting than before. Donald Trump doesn't represent the democracy as he has an overall negative effect on the government. When people see America as their president, Donald Trump will be representing the government. He will be representing a negative side, and not only will turn off people of his own country, but also people from international areas. Donald Trump is not a good representation of the government, as he stands for principles that offend many people and can cause outrage not only in America, but in other countries as well. The outrage he causes may cause more people to be involved in politics, but that might not be a good thing, as they may see politics as a bad thing because he is representing a bad side of the politics. People will not change these issues. If Donald Trump is voted into presidency through his campaign, he will not be changing these issues as he's going to stand for the same things he stands for during his campaign. In his campaign is stating what he will do in his future. The campaign may not be beneficial right now, but the campaign may be beneficial now, although it is not entirely. His campaign represents the future of his presidency, which is not a good thing. The involvement he causes in politics is from the outrage of the people and is not a good representation. His campaign, which states racism and sexism, will cause people to have a negative effect against the government, which although it may make them rebel against the government, he's making them do something that is bad. His presidency will cause a bad reign over America, as people will not want to stand by him, and the small minority that do stand by him will have outrage against people who don't, which causes a war amongst the people. Donald Trump's honesty is not a good thing. His honesty may be true, as he generally states what he thinks, but this can not only cause outrage amongst people, which it has in the past, but it causes prejudice against himself and the American government and other people who stand by him. The people would want to turn away from him and cause even less voting issues. In the past, it has been stated that very few people vote, and because of his bad representation, this can cause people to vote even less, which has an opposite effect of what the campaign states. Donald Trump will not make America great. He will have an overall negative effect, as his campaign, which shows what he will do in the future, is not beneficial because of his sexism, racism, and blatant
Keep talking.
and his change against government. Donald Trump. In conclusion, Donald Trump will have an overall net detrimental effect, not only because of his campaign, but if voted into presidency, the principles and policies he stands for.
Oh, you're asking me what I am.
Yeah, do the forest with I think the hardest part.
Alright, how do you guys think it went? First city.
I feel like
Terrible.
I want to do it over because after hearing them, they sounded so cute, and it makes me want to like incorporate the vocabulary they used and stuff, but we didn't know it.
You learn about drugs.
Yeah.
Alright, guys, if you're gonna be noisy, put aside. If you're gonna be productive, stay inside. Yes, sir.
I don't think the whole bashing Republicans thing is a good idea. The judge might be Republican.
Call after that. You're right.
I don't think bashing Republicans in your contention is a good idea because if your judge is Republican,
Oh yeah, but you guys are all done.
we're gonna have another
But
part.
you
that's
just keep,
like,
okay. A, don't count on your judge being Democratic. B, saying the Republican Party, saying the Republican Party gets weaker is not necessarily a good thing, even if you support Democrats. Everyone should be listening to this. It's a good idea. Because the thing is, okay, if the Republicans get too weak, then the government is dominated just by the Democrats. Then there's no check on the political party of the Democrats. Does that make sense? That means the Democrats can do whatever they want. The Republicans aren't there to make their policies better. Pearl, are you listening?
I am.
What did I just say? No, you can't.
Okay, Republicans are or we shouldn't. we shouldn't bash on Republicans because they have some good policies, etc.
That is not what I said.
No, she demolished it.
Yes. Ariel, go. Pearl, you should be listening. Because you weren't.
She said you should, if the Republicans lost their power, then there would only be one dominating party in the government and no backup plan in case like the Democrats go crazy. And they also have the ability to go
Right. So it wouldn't be a democracy if we only had one party, if we only had one choice, right?
It's
If we'd only have one side of the equation, they could do whatever they want, and there's no Republican parties to say, whoa, slow down, that's not good for everyone, right? So we may think Democrats are good for everyone. There's a lot of people, even in California, that aren't pro-abortion, right? It's like that's maybe not what you want to be arguing, is what everyone's saying. Okay? Make sense? Okay. So, what do you guys think went well that you'd like to do? Either something they did or something you did, or something you want to try to do?
After a few of the speeches, we kind of caught on to the note taking type of thing. Because at first I was just kind of writing down everything they were saying, which obviously isn't a good thing. And then they told us to number it too, which was really helpful because it keeps it way more organized. So that was like, that helped me. That was good.
That's a first. Alright. So you want to try to number more in the future?
Yeah. I just keep it more organized because I can't even read this now that I've written it.
No one's
so.
reading my handwriting except me.
Yeah.
That's not me.
Yeah. Try to. Okay. So the thing is, yes, handwriting often gets messy and big. I'm guilty of that myself. But you want to at least make it. If you need to pass notes to your partner, they need to be able to read it. One way to do that is to do it on a different sheet of paper and use like a highlighter and make it big. That's what Grace and I do. So we'll just write it really big and like highlight or something so it's really, really clear what it says. But yeah, figure out some way to make sure it's
Oh, yeah,
I learned. Wait. Okay. Notebook is. Yeah.
Alright,
Well,
Chloe,
yeah.
what about you? Good? Things to improve?
I believe so.
I need to know the format better.
The format?
Yeah.
So you found you still had some questions after what happened yesterday, now that you've actually like done it?
I wonder if people just study.
Huh?
On the
Or is this
concept.
Carly, like,
You don't really. No, I study on format. Oh, okay. Okay, guys, I wonder if you can watch stuff.
Oh, there's the bubble.
Yeah. Wait, who are they guys?
Jamie!
guys,
Like,
sophomores, please, you're being unproductive.
I know
Yes, they are good. No.
personally, like, for example, like I play guitar, I need to watch maybe like how someone else plays a song, and then I can sort of find my own way to clear visual.
You can do that if you want, because I have videos from all.
No!